What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the pleasure of having former LFA flyweight champion. He is currently sitting on the top five newest comers to the UFC in their annual mid-year report. He is Brandon Raw Dog Royval. Brandon, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good yourself.
Man, good to have you here, even though it's kind of a sweltering kind of heat sensation going on here in Southern California. So there's that, but I'm sure it's looking beautiful where you are in Colorado.
It's about to rain, so that's exactly how I like it. Just a little chilly, not too crazy, not crazy hot. It's been so hot lately. I don't even want to do anything.
Oh man, oh man, that's not fun because I mean, is it kind of like at least a little bit of a semblance of summer?
I don't know. So I feel like what I consider like super hot and what you consider super hot probably two different. If it's 80 degrees out here, I'm dying. So you're in California. I'm sure that you're used to 80 degrees. It's like a nice day out there for you guys. But 80 degrees for me is like, all right, I gotta chill a little bit. I gotta drink gallons and gallons of water, and yeah, it's just too much for me.
Yeah, 80 degrees. You're kind of like, come on, like sweat, get off me.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, obviously, you made your UFC debut against, I mean, flyweight veteran. I mean, two stints in the UFC. One, why am I blanking on it? Tim Elliott. My goodness, why did I blank? I had a brain fart there. But how was that experience?
It was wild actually. It all happened like really quickly, and it seems like that sometimes with like the fight game. It's like a little bit of both. You like it seems like the day of the fight or whatever it is, time slowing down, but it all happens super quick too, you know. And like I don't know, I wish I could have got like signed a month before, 2 months before, but I got signed like a week and a half before, and then the next week I'm fighting Tim Elliott, which I don't know, it just seemed like it all happened really quickly. But I'm grateful for the whole experience, man, and just everything, I guess.
Well, in a lot of the interviews that you did, pre and post that fight, you had said that you'd been watching him for almost a decade, and followed his career in both stints of the UFC and out of it. So, but you yourself, former flyweight champion for LFA, who many will believe, and rightfully so, that the LFA is one of the top kind of promotions to usher you into the UFC, and they place big title contenders in front of you. So it's kind of cool because preparation meets opportunity. When that happens, success happens, and that seems like it was happening for you because you handled it like a champ and did all the media. You performed well. You got a finish victory over Tim Elliott. You actually gassed him out. That's so crazy, so crazy.
Um, I think winning the LFA flyweight title, and I'm always just trying to like boost, like put a feather in my own cap or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like winning the flyweight LFA title, I think is like super like important. Anything like the most important thing for like a flyweight fighter in America because we don't have the outlet of PFL or Bellator as a flyweight. It's LFA or like you're signed to ONE FC or something, which is like I would say is arguably just as big as the UFC, especially at that division. You know what I'm saying? Considering that we have Mighty Mouse over there and all that. So I think that LFA or flyweight belt was just like one of those things. I'm like, all right, I need to secure this. And then you look at all the past LFA flyweight belt holders is Cejudo, Brandon Moreno, just all like I don't know, like Pantoja was I think Legacy or something, but it's all kind of like linked together. So for that, like I think that preparation and that kind of mind state of me in my head, like, all right, well, if I win the LFA belt, like that's the next biggest thing that I can do outside the UFC for sure. So that kind of secured like my confidence going in there, and yeah, man, like I said, I went in there. I think I main evented the last three LFA fights that I fought in personally. I was the main event for every single one of them. So I think I just had a lot of preparation going into that. And then I knew I was going into that Dana White Contender Series right before the Tim Elliott fight. So I think I had like a little bit more preparation than him, honestly. As in, like, I was already getting ready for a fight. I wasn't preparing for him, but I was just preparing. You know what I'm saying? I was staying ready, and I knew the opportunities that could come close to all that stuff too. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, that's it's kind of crazy because I mean, many had pegged you as one of the top flyweights, to not be signed with the UFC, right? And you were originally supposed to make your UFC debut via Dana White Contender Series. That would happen at Apex. and then you end up fighting at, on a UFC card, a legit UFC card at Apex at the same facility. That had to be kind of serendipitous, like it was all meant to happen.
Yeah, it did really seem like a lot like that. And like I said, I think it's just a lot of advantages played toward me in comparison to Tim Elliott. I think I walked in there with a little bit more advantages than he did. I think Tim Elliott's the kind of guy that he feeds off a crowd. He has a lot of people in the audience and all that stuff. And Tim Elliott's an exciting fighter, so I'm sure he's used to hearing the crowd roar every time he fights or does something. So for me, like fighting complete silence is like really not anything, man. I was just going to get in a fist fight. Like I found a big crowd the last couple fights, especially being in Colorado. I had like my own crowd, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I think I just had a lot more preparation and just getting ready for fighting that Contender Series anyways. Yeah, it was just, like I said, I lucked out there in that sense, and I felt like I had a little bit more of an advantage than Tim Elliott, especially walking into it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And Jesse Velasquez is chiming in. He said that was badass, pretty cool to break in the top 15 of the UFC in just one fight.
Yeah, so today it kind of played out really well for me too. I didn't really think about it, but we have a short wall space at Factory X where we can drill and stuff. There's a short wall space, and Alex Hernandez trains at our gym now, which is awesome to have him. And we're trying to fight over it, so we all didn't want to go train on the cage because the cage will scratch up your back and stuff. It's really hard to train against the cage. So we have like this nice little wall, and Alex Hernandez is like, all right, well, I have a number next to my name. I'm staying on the wall. And I was like, oh, I guess I do too. I'm like, I'm not leaving either. So today it played out like to my advantage too. So I was really stoked about that. I always forget about it. And like flyweight, there's only like 20 UFC's flyweight signed to the roster anyway. So I'm not letting it get to my head or anything. I know I still got to do better. And I know that flyweight's not the deepest division. And like I said, I'm looking to get up there. The top five's like a normal top 10 bantamweight would look like, I think. So like I said, I need to improve my skills drastically, and I'm excited, man. And I feel like I'm getting better with this opportunity ever since I've been signed to the UFC, just being like a complete full-time fighter. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity and just where I'm at right now. It's great, man.
No, for sure, and you are making the most of it. I mean, again, topping the top five biggest newcomers. I mean, and that's in all divisions. That's just So when you're talking about there's only 25 flyweights signed to the UFC right now, and you're in the top 15. Well, that's a metric, in the top five newcomers that you can definitely gauge.
Yeah, man, I like appreciate. I feel like that's like a little bit like not deserved, but I appreciate that they're doing that, and I appreciate I'm getting a little hype. I really want I feel like I'm an exciting fighter, especially at flyweight. I think that we don't get too much credit for having the most exciting division, but I'm hoping I can go out there and just showcase that I'm an exciting fighter, that I bring it. I'm pretty creative, and I just hope I can go out there and be creative and. Like I said, that Tim Elliott fight, I felt like he manhandled me a little bit and like was beating me up. I didn't get a showcase too much. So if they like that, man, I hope I can actually showcase what I can do. And I know that I'm going against the top in the world right now, but I think I can do a little bit of that showcasing and showing out and just showing that I'm a little bit of creative fighter out there and have a little bit all that kind of clash. And maybe I can gain some fans and get a little bit of hype behind myself,
No, for sure. Now, I mean, and anybody that's followed your career, you had, I mean, close to 15 fights, prior to coming to the UFC, or a little over 10, coming into the UFC, and a lot of people, peg you as like you got to sign this guy, almost 3 years before you actually got in, so that was pretty cool and pretty apropos. And also that's what was apropos was the fact that, I mean, if you had gotten in with the Contender Series, there's a good chance that you still, even if you had won your fight, you might not get into the promotion. I mean, you could look at Jalen Turner, Roosevelt Roberts, SoCal natives and vets, former CXF champions here in SoCal, who essentially, won their fights. Another one, Christopher Curtis, who fights for the PFL now. He literally had a broken arm and super kicked his opponent and knocked him out and still didn't get the call, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you're, again, a main card fight, in the UFC where you're supposed to be, making your debut for the Contender Series, it's kind of cool that you're ushered into the top 15 rather than kind of contending for a slot.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, like I said, I think if I went to the Contender Series and I fought in front of Dana White and I did win, that I'm a fan-friendly fighter. I think that that's also was a good opportunity for me to go and gain fans, you know, especially I like the matchup I had at the time. I think that I could go kind of showcase a lot of my skills against the person that I had at the time of the Contender Series. But the fact that I can bypass that's even better. Like I can go bypass that and like not put that pressure, because there's a chance that I lose, man. Or there's a big chance I lose, I guess too. If there's a chance I go out there and lose, and then not only do I not get signed, maybe I watch someone else get signed. And I felt like for the last couple of years, you said 3 years of like kind of people had an eye on me or whatever. For the last 3 years, I've been fighting the toughest people outside the UFC. I think all three fights that I lost they got signed to the Contender Series or something of that sort, or got signed to the UFC right after. So that opportunity, or even just fighting that caliber opponent, kind of prepared me to go fight Tim Elliott too, is another good thing. But like I said, I've been teetering that, and I really did not want to go lose a fight and then watch someone bypass me and watch their dreams come true instead of mine, man. And that would have been heartbreaking. So I'm happy that I can just be in the UFC and bypass that, and then just kind of achieve these things right now. And I hope that I keep going up and making this happen, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And talk about the level of competition and the high esteem that you hold for yourself. You know, even in victory. I mean, a former UFC flyweight contender in Tim Elliott, right? You finished him. You finished him in the second round, and you still weren't totally happy with your performance. You felt you could do more, and that just kind of speaks to the man you are and the mentality that you have, right? But um one of the metrics that you had for yourself, right, was stepping away from your day job and pursuing fighting full time. Is that something that was able to happen since that fight?
Yeah, it is something that was able to happen. And I think going into that fight, one of the big things for me was I had Tim Elliott, one of the more exciting flyweights. I knew it was a big opportunity to go out there and win 50K. I knew it was a big opportunity for me to go out there and show out and have a great fight, have fight of the night kind of thing, have a fight of the night kind of performance, and win that $50,000. And at the end of the fight, I was more critical of like, hey, I didn't do enough out there to go impress. I didn't impress myself. I'm surprised I impressed anybody, but the fact of the matter that I did get that 50,000 was just a great opportunity to actually pursue my dreams full time and quit my job. And what I'm wearing right now is that EAP glass. I got a cool little sponsor that are helping me month to month, man, and they help me. I'm a sissy when it comes to making big decisions, man. And I was like, I could quit my job, but what if something goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if this happens? What if I pop out my shoulder tomorrow and now I'm unemployed? I quit a job and like I can't go back. So I was giving myself all these outlets, and I finally just like in my head I was like, all right, you know what, burn the ships, man. Like let's go for it, man. Balls to the wall with this. How many people get this opportunity? I feel like Dana White like I don't know, I kind of pulled his heartstring a little bit. I felt like I wasn't necessarily the fight of the night that night. I feel like I didn't put on a good performance. So the fact that I still got that 50,000, I went out there, won, and I have this. I'm top 11 now. The next opponent I fight's gonna be probably sick, man. It's probably gonna be top 10 or 12 or whatever it is. Like me winning that fight didn't really do myself a favor, man. So I got to go out there and I got to get better. And if I'm training without getting any nights of sleep, or if I'm doing this and not recovering at all, then I didn't take this opportunity to the fullest. So I quit my job right after I did it. I had to like balls up and do it in my own head, because I was like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't know. I was just like trying to give myself a safety net, you know. But screw it, I'm gonna invest in myself. I took that, and then this EAP glass, man, great people, great company, man. They saw my fight and they're impressed by it, and they reached out to me and like, hey, we want to help you pursue this full time, and it's the greatest opportunity ever, man. I wake up so grateful every day, man, and I'm just so happy that I'm here, and I'm so happy that I get this opportunity to pursue my dream to the fullest, you know.
No, and that's what this time is, to kind of figure out yourself. Everybody's in a weird situation with this COVID or protest situation. It's kind of weird, but the fact that people are still achieving their dreams regardless of what's going on in the rest of the world. This is something that you've taken an opportunity and have made the most of it.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel so like it's weird to capitalize, because obviously I probably wouldn't have got signed if it wasn't for the COVID. I probably just had to wait for the Contender Series, but they're so desperate to get out cards, they needed to sign some people. So I feel so weird capitalizing on this COVID moment, man. People are struggling all over the world, and I'm over here like my dream just came true because this goddamn fucking pandemic, Sorry for cursing, but for this pandemic.
No, you're good.
All right, cool. So I don't know. I feel a little bit weird about it, but I'm like, without COVID, this shit wouldn't happen. So it's so weird to like think about that, and I'm lucky that I'm the few that hasn't struggled because of it.
No, for sure. And again, everybody's looking for that canary in the coal mine, that beacon of hope in this weird situation that everyone's in, and they can definitely attach themselves to the raw dog and ride this thing to the top. But I want to get into what, I mean, after you beat Tim Elliott and what have you, right? You had cut weight and all that jazz. What was your go-to? Like, was there like a song that you listened to, a movie that you watched, or something that you ate after cutting weight, for that fight or whatever? What was your go-to?
Um, I don't, so normally before I fight, I watch. Have you seen The Warriors before? The Warriors movie, The Warriors.
Yeah, yeah, the
Uh,
Warriors come out
I
and
watch
play.
I
Come
watch
on.
that every time before a fight, and then I watch the Chinese Connection with Bruce Lee. So those are like my two things that I like to do before a fight. I didn't have it, and they weren't available on like Amazon or Netflix at the time, so I didn't have my movies with me. So that kind of sucked a little bit. But I just chilled. I chilled with my team. I had my coach out there, and then I fought with Chris Gutierrez. So I had a couple coaches out there, 3 coaches out there, and my managers out there. And like I said, I just hung out and chilled. Uh, the last 2 fights before that, I main evented in Colorado, and my family's there, so I can go out to go have a meal with my dad and my mom, and just kind of like calm my nerves. And then I have like my road, like my was it roll dogs or road dogs or whatever that come with me. I have like 3 friends that I probably like. They walked out to me with my high school fights when I was in high school fighting another kid in high school. Like we're walking down the street, they walk with me. You know what I'm saying? Those are my best friends. So I usually have them there. So it was weird not having like I don't know, my friends there and all that stuff. Because I usually at least have 2 friends that go state to state with me, and we do everything together. And they come and they're ride or dies, man. And it sucked not having them, but it was just a minor adjustment. I talked to them on the phone, and like I said, we just kind of kicked back. I didn't get to watch those movies, but whatever, man. It is what it is, I got the opportunity to go out there and make a dream come true.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly believe that you carried them with, in spirit, right there in the octagon with you. So that was amazing.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Now, before we let you go, obviously you mentioned the EAP glass and what have you, but let's shout out some of your supporters and sponsors, and this is your time to shine. Again, you're somebody that's really hard on themselves and performance and what have you, but there's definitely a lot of people that kind of help you get here. So let's shout them out, my man.
Hey, real quick, EAP Glass, and then I have a sponsor, Cure Native. It's a THC company, man. They're really awesome. My cousin's company is growing. But if I can give a shout out to anything, if you guys don't know, Devontae Smith is 10 toes. He's one of my teammates. He's a knockout artist at 155. He's in the UFC. He's great, and he's gonna be a champion one day. His sister died like this weekend in an accidental shooting. So if you guys want to go click over to GoFundMe and check out Devontae Smith and give me your support as fans, man. He's a crowd pleaser, and like that guy called me up right before my UFC debut. And right before the UFC debut, he called me up and he goes, "Hey, man, I know what you're feeling right now. I know that you're in the UFC and you're overthinking everything. You wonder if you belong, this, and that." And he goes, "It's 2 different names between UFC and LFA," and kind of gave me that like, "Hey, like you belong here, you deserve it." And he goes, "You're making up fake like fake excuses why you don't belong here. Like you belong here," and kind of like motivate me. So if you guys can help that guy out in any way, man, that I'm so heartbroken to hear that his sister passed away in a shooting that didn't involve her at all. So it's just heartbreaking. And Devontae Tentos, going to be a real champion one day. So check him out, and please, if you guys can, go fund me, help his sisters, help his family get some peace.
Absolutely, and our condolences go to the Smith family during this trying time. And it's really cool of you to be able to kind of shine a spotlight to your teammate, in your time to shine. So thank you, my man.
I
But
appreciate
also, yeah, absolutely. Where can people find the Raw Dog on social media to find out what's going on with you?
it. Don't Google Raw Dog on social media because something else might pop up. But I think I'll be on Brandon Royval everywhere, or be Royval. But I should be Brandon Royval on Twitter and Instagram, though.
Excellent. Well, thank you, my man, dude. This has been certainly an honor, and we'll circle back once the next fight gets announced. I know the Iridium Sports team, with Jason House and Jacob Parga and the rest of the crew there, they've got something in the wing, so we'll wait on them to see what your next move will be. But when that happens, we'll definitely circle back.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys for joining us. This has been According to Woods with the Raw Dog, Brandon Royval, and we are out. Ooh.